Hey, what's going on? This is the Knicks Report. I'm your host, Quis, joined as always by my co-host, JD. JD, man, how's everything with you?
Just counting the hours to the trade deadline.
Yeah, it's going to be a busy next couple of days for us because the rumors are swirling. And of course, we had to start the show with one of the biggest names out right now, and that's Lonzo Ball. Lonzo Ball has not played in his last few games for the Pelicans, and we both know what that usually means. That means somebody's being preserved because they're most likely on the way out. And on my channel, I had a rebuild, and people were saying we should not try to go after Lonzo. And I'm saying I think we should. And the reason I'm saying that is, have you heard some of these recent, reports?
Yes, I did.
Okay, well,
Yes.
for those who have not heard, I'm just going to run through a few of the teams that are right now competing for the ability to trade for Alonzo, and that's going to be the Atlanta Hawks, who have Cam, a player that they can offer. That's the Nuggets, who have Bobo, a player that doesn't get too many minutes, but he's a project that's tantalizing for the Pelicans. And then you also have the Bulls, who offered either Markkinen or Satoransky and a second. Now, JD, I just wanted to know, do you think the Knicks should be competing with these teams in order to acquire Lonzo?
If the price is right, if the price is right, uh, they definitely should be in the running for the services of Lonzo Ball. I mean, listen, you consider Lonzo Ball is a player that fits their timeline, right? He's 23 years old. He Some of his abilities fit with Tom Thibodeau in terms of defense, size, um, facilitating the offense, in terms of his passing ability, and effort. He plays hard, and he's not never really heard bad reports in terms of him as a locker room presence. I know there's a lot of drama with his dad, but in terms of him as a player, you never really heard these things behind the scenes. So that's a positive because the Knicks, as we all know, are trying to build a culture here. That's very important when they identify players that they want. This regime, this coaching staff wants to bring in players that fit their timeline and their culture. And so, yes, I think they should be going after him aggressively. But again, it all depends on what's going to happen here with as the hours wind down and we're getting closer to the trade deadline. Will David Griffin bluff? Will he fold? Will his demands lower, or will he, stand firm? And if you look at the current offers, I mean, that Denver Nuggets, if you are one of the people that believe Bobo is this ultra talented player, has all this potential, the Nuggets might have the ability to present the best offer on the table. However, the key will be, would you give up those assets if Lonzo Ball is not able to commit to you long term? And I think that's where the Knicks come in, because it's being reported that the Knicks are a team that he would like to, he would be open to playing for, not only this season if he gets traded here, but also long term.
Yeah, to me, I think the tricky part is that whole him being a restricted free agent because, to be honest, I know NBA players have a lot of say in where they go, but if he's traded to a team that says, we traded these assets and through hella high waters, we're going to match any offer, then, he's going to be stuck with that team, unfortunately. And I feel like the Knicks, if we feel like Lonzo Ball is going to be the point guard of our future, like, we have to make a reasonable deal, but we should be pursuing any avenue to acquire him. Some of the reports are saying we may have to take on Eric Bledsoe, and it looks like right now the Knicks are trying to find a third team to move his contract to. And if that's what we have to do in order to make this move, then they better be on them phone calls right now, trying to find that third team that's going to be the sucker for Eric Bledsoe's contract. Because I think Lonzo Ball fits in very well with this team, like you said, with this current trajectory of this roster. I think he molds very well. You got Julius Randle, who's only 26. You've got RJ, still very young. Obi's 23. We have IQ now on the roster. We have a nice, solid, young core roster that Lonzo Ball could potentially grow and become that court general for us out there. And I think Lonzo has worked on his three-point shooting. He's got his three-point shooting up to about 38, 39%. It's going to be a big increase over Elfrid Payton, who's only shooting 25%. Elfrid Payton still dealing with injuries. He couldn't finish the game against the Wizards. So I think that Lonzo is exactly what we need. And that should really be the only trade that we should be focusing on. Not for Lonzo per se, but on a point guard. And that's interesting that I'm bringing up point guards because there's another point guard that has been connected to the Knicks, and that's going to be Devontae Graham. You know, how do you feel about potentially Devontae Graham being a backup plan if we're unable to go and get Lonzo Ball?